What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Great Men podcast, and I've got a great man with me today, Greg Hickman, brother. How you doing, man?
I am great, man. Thanks for having me. So good to see you.
Dude, we were just talking. We've known each other for a long time, and like whenever I'm speaking or I'm out, and people like listen to the podcast for a long time, or they know who I am, or whatever, they know you from when they knew you. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Like,
I
so
love
they'll
that
come up to
line.
me and they'll be like, "How is Isaac and Anna doing? How's Anna Joe? Are they? Does she still like bows and Barbie dolls?" And I'm like, "She's 15 and driving. What are you talking about right now, man?" And one of my favorite things about you one of the memories that's etched in my head, knowing you from when I've known you, because we met a long time ago, dude.
Yeah.
And like, I think back then you were still like the mobile guy or something when we first
Yeah.
met.
When we first met, I was coming out of that era because that's when I started doing all the infusion style stuff with you.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Started doing all the systems and stuff like that. And we went on a retreat together.
Oh,
And
geez, this story?
the thing that is burned into my head is you getting on the back of that inner tube at Dale Hollow Lake and just being like just refusing to let go, being pulled at 100 miles an hour by the jet ski. I don't know who was driving. I mean Jeff Rose, but I think he was trying to kill you at the moment
Yeah,
in
no,
time.
I think Brian was trying to get
It
me to
was
go off.
Brian.
I think I think I still hold the record. I don't know. I haven't been
Oh
back.
no! To this day, we're a decade in now, and I've never seen anybody hang on as long as you did, man. So kudos, man. Well done, bro.
I love it.
It's funny. Like, one of the reasons I started this podcast is because I have noticed that a lot of the guys that we've known for a long time. I mean, we've been in the
Hmm.
game now, especially the online game, doing stuff through the
10
internet.
years.
Well, it's ridiculous. It's crazy, man, when you think about it.
Yeah.
It seems
Yeah.
like a minute and a half, bro.
Yeah.
And I've watched you go through these cool evolutions along the way, right? Like you were this mobile guy, came out of that, did the Infusionsoft stuff. You set some stuff up for me back in the day on that
Yeah.
history website, which is still running, by the way. And
That was some of the most ninja stuff
that was
ever.
legit, man. Like if you downloaded one lesson plan, a week later you got the next one to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
come on in, man." That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. And then now you do the stuff that you're doing now, helping people like productize
Yeah.
services and like all that evolution. Like, but what was going on like underneath the hood during those shifts? Like you've made big moves, you've shifted when you needed to.
Mm,
Like what was going on there? Like why did you make those decisions? Like how do you get into the next thing? And just as a
uh,
man, as a man with a family and a life and
yeah.
all those good stuff, like what's underneath the hood on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, obviously there was a couple things going on. I think with the like mobile thing, I had spent the better part of a decade in that industry, and that's what I left kind of corporate world working for someone else to do something for myself. And so I just kind of took that expertise, and that was going to be the thing because that was my experience. And
Totally.
it was really, really hard. Gave it like a year and a half and like really didn't get where I wanted to. And in that process, I sort of started falling in love with like the automation stuff. And it was really like an honest conversation of like, which do you care about more? Like having a business that can support you or like being known as the mobile guy.
Mm.
And I was
Those
like,
are
well, I
identity
need
thing kind of
money.
rolled in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I need money. So it was easier to sell the other stuff. And so, but that transition also was really interesting because coming out of the agency world, like having the skills that I had, I went after similar clients to the ones that I had when I was in corporate, like retail. And like I didn't care about retail. Like it was just like that's who I had served. So I was able to like lean into that experience. And when I shifted into automation, it was like I got to work with all the people that like actually inspired me. And so
Mm.
like people that I was learning from, John Lee Dumas, Pat Flynn, like a lot of those, like Chris Ducker, like those people became clients, those sorts of people. And so it was like I got to be behind the scenes with clients that like I genuinely was interested in and cared about. And that sort of has kind of been like a thread through from that point till now, because we were building tons of funnels and like accidentally was building an agency again, like which is what I had escaped. And I
So you
realized
rebuilt the job that you escaped for
basically, yeah,
yourself
as the owner.
as the owner, which is
Yeah.
which means now you're working 80 hours for yourself to not work 40 hours for somebody else.
Yes. And I hit a point, I was actually just scripting some YouTube videos on this because like that was around like we were successful. Like on paper, we had some big names. The team was like like including fractional people, like 13. But I learned that like the only way to grow was to hire more people so that more
Yeah,
people could do the work that we were doing. And I
totally.
was like, well, I don't want a big team. Like I just came from a company that had like 400 people, if not more. And it was like, like, I wanted lean.
Yeah,
And so I realized that like, all right, well, then I got interested in like the people that were like really interested in like that model of like online business, like high ticket coaching, consulting, and really pivoted my agency into that. And back to like the who you want to help, it's like, well, I wanted to help online course creators and stuff because those are the people building businesses online. We were building funnels for them. Then I realized I built the thing that I didn't want to be trapped in, the thing that I had originally escaped. And as I made that shift, and we were like, well, let's build sales funnels for like service providers. And they were like, well, I don't like, I do everything for everybody. I was like, oh,
yeah,
you were an agency and you don't want to be an agency, you're me. And I was like,
totally.
I want to help more people that like somehow accidentally got themselves into this, like, I have to hire more people to grow and hit my income goals sort of thing. Like, I don't want to be a manager. I don't want to be on meetings all the time. And that really kind of has led all the way through till now. Like I'm working with people that I genuinely care about, mainly because they either have been where I want to be or they've been where I have been and I got to where they want to be. Um,
Totally.
and so that's carried me all the way through kind of each of these little iterations. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's
man.
a key piece of it. But then lifestyle, right? Like you have kids. Like when I first started working with you, I didn't have kids.
Oh, that's a game changer right there, because those
Yeah, I
little
started
suckers
working with you in
require
like
half your life.
2015. Yeah, I
Yeah,
started working with you in 2015. 2017, when this first shift of like I built an agency, I don't want to be in one, was to something more leverage was because my son was born that year. And like working all these hours, and my wife's like, when is this gonna like get better? And it was, the classic entrepreneur of like, oh, well, like when I get to blah 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 milestone, then it'll be better. And like it
yeah,
actually never was that way until I just chose to make it better. And that was so yeah, like that was the first kid, and then COVID, and the second kid came during COVID. And so yeah, lifestyle changes. Like I was just saying this to someone the other day. Again, when I first got started with you working together, I don't even, so I would be 33 around 10 years ago ish. And so
yeah.
like the sort of hunger that I had then is exhausting now. Like
Oh,
I don't
truth,
want to
dude.
I don't want to work at
100%,
that
man.
pace. I don't want to work that much. I have so many other things I'm interested in outside of just like wanting to experience and enjoy being a parent that like I don't want to be at like work all day, like grind, grind, grind. It's like hustle, hustle culture. And so that just like that changed too. And so I feel like just the willingness, long answer is like, what's another kind of piece to this is like, I'm just okay with innovating and changing and restarting. Like I've innovated and turned like chameleon, turned into what I needed to be when I needed to be it for where I wanted to get. And like I have no problem with burning something down and starting something new just to get to something better. And I actually just did it again in 2023. So
Heck yeah, dude, dude. I would. It's so funny, man, because like we got a lot of common like friends. We got a lot of people
yeah,
that we know, and we've kind of went through the game with, for a while now. And I'm seeing this. Like I'm seeing what you're from, especially from the men that I talk to. This there's this weird balance between like reinvention and survival, and then there's always that rub of like my old goals. Like I found myself, dude, in 2023, same exact time. We started this education company. We ended up selling that. Then we started Flip Lifestyle, and it exploded. And then we went to I built this huge like seminar company. I was a partner in this massive company that went to like $200 million in 5 years.
damn.
And yeah, man. But in 2023, I'll tell you when it happened. This reinvention kind of moment for me was we were doing high ticket education and coaching in live seminars and live events all across the country. And there was a month where we did $800,000 in sales.
Nice.
This is what got me. The first thought in my head, Greg, was, dang, we missed 1 million. And I'm
Yeah.
sitting there thinking, I sold my first company for 1.1 million, and it was the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
But that, like, I felt like I had won all the life in the
Yeah.
life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then, like, you don't. I think when you're early on, it's like you start out and you're like, okay, well, what's the next goal? Well, quit my job. But what's the next goal? Be 6 figures. What's the next goal? Be 7 figures. And then like you get in this rhythm of
Mm.
everybody telling you you're supposed to scale to $1 million and all this other
Yeah.
nonsense, dude. And like when I said that to myself, I thought, what am I talking about? Like I mean, of course it's not all profit. I mean, there
Right.
was a percentage of profit,
Yeah.
but like to even think that, I was like, this is never ending. If I keep doing this, I'm just going to
Yeah.
keep doing this forever and I'm going to kill myself at the end of it.
Yeah. I feel that. Like, so yeah, we hit our first million in 2020. And that was the goal. Is like build $1 million business.
Totally. Seven
Why that was the
figures.
goal, I have no idea.
Because somebody
Um,
told us it was the goal,
yes,
Greg.
because
And we
someone said
listened. That's what it was. It wasn't our goal, it was their goal.
I wasn't creative enough to come up with my own goal, so I just borrowed someone else's.
Amen.
So,
Right? Yeah, dude.
and we hit it, and like I literally, outside of like, oh my God, we hit it. After that, I felt literally nothing. Like,
Yeah.
and then it was like, well, there was someone told me, like, mentor was like, they call it the swamp of success, like 1 to 3 million. It's like the best day of your life is that there's two great days. He's like the day you cross 1 million, and then the day you cross three, and you want to make those days as close as possible because in between is miserable. And so yeah, I was just like, all right, well, like I didn't really know what, like I didn't really have like any real motivation to get like I didn't have clear enough vision to get anywhere further. So I was like, all right, well, like if this is gonna suck, I should try to get to like 3 million. And so like I hired a bunch of people because that's what I was supposed to do. And like we almost got to two, but like it got to the point where I think I hit the point because I was like, all right, back to a lot of people. I'm now managing a ton more people. I think I'm a good leader. I hate managing. And I
Same.
don't like being on meetings. And I scaled myself out of everything that I loved doing that like gave me reason to be doing it. And
That's another dude, that's another lie that I not a lie. That's another other person's goals that I like. People used to always tell me, hey Shane, you shouldn't be doing that. Hey
yeah,
Shane, you shouldn't
right,
be doing that. And I'm like, yo, but that's the thing I like to do. Like,
right.
why shouldn't I be doing it if it's the thing? I don't care if it makes less. I don't care if my effective hourly rate is less there. Like that's what gives me life, man.
Yeah.
And I did it, dude. I took everything off my plate except for like one or two things and led my leadership team. And I was like, this is dumb. I don't want to do this like ever
Yeah. So
again.
I
Yeah.
I basically got to the point where it's like, all right, like we invested in this team to grow, but we're not growing. So margins are really tight. And I hit the point where I was like, the only reason I have these revenue goals each month right now is to just pay the expenses of all these people. And so
Hmm.
I'm like, if I just got rid of these people, I wouldn't need to sell as much and I would keep more of it. And so in 2023, I downsized, like half my team. And like honestly, since then, I feel like I've been experimenting and playing, and I've been the most profitable that I've ever like most profitable in that I've paid myself the most amount of money take home ever since from 2023 on to now.
Nice.
And while things aren't exactly like where I want them to be even right now, I'm like I'm still having more fun. My schedule is like awesome. I take my kids to school every morning. I pick them up, coaching my son's basketball team. I usually mountain bike twice a week. I don't work on Fridays. Usually don't work when like this is my last thing on a Wednesday. Wednesday afternoons I take off. And so like I really feel like I'm now using all the skills that I have to like rejig it to how I want it to be. And I'm
Yes, sir.
intentionally going really slow to make sure that I don't get caught in the same traps that I did last time. And
Yeah,
so
man.
I'd say the biggest thing that I've been struggling with is like back to that like ego thing. Like part of it is like, oh no, I'm not going to hit 1 million this year. I'm like, but I'm still paying myself like a lot.
Yeah, you're getting to spend more of it, and
Yeah.
you're getting to do all the things that you want to do, and
Yeah.
it's just so dangerous, man. Because like, like I think, we all look up to a lot of people, and a lot of people do great things. But like what you just described to me is like exactly the whole point of the Great Men Project. It's not about building a great life. Like, oh, Alex Hormozy said that was a great life. Russell Brunson said that was a great life. Somebody else said that was a great life. It's I'm building a great life like on my terms, which is hilarious because that was kind of what flipped lifestyle was when it first started
Yeah.
out. And then
Totally.
like
It was exactly what
somewhere
you're about.
somewhere along the way, it kind of got lost in the shuffle because I didn't know what to do. So I just did the same thing you did. I listened to somebody else. That I'll tell you one of the greatest blessings and curses that happened to me
Mm,
was I gave this speech at an event that like catapulted me into my speaking career back in
mm,
2020, around the end of 2020, 2021.
mm.
And crowd lost its damn mind. My partner at the time walked up to me and goes, "I did not know that you could do that." He said, "You were born for this. You were born for this." And
Mm.
what that led to over the next 3 years was taking off and landing in 100 airplanes a year, speaking around the country. And I looked up and said, I'm good at this, but I wasn't born to be in an airport this many
Yeah.
times a year. I was not made to be away from my teenage kids for 5 days at a time trying to get
Yeah.
to the next event. And and I just kind of had to step back and say the same thing you did. I don't want to build a big team. I have no
Yeah.
desire I can do it. I've done it
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
but I just kind of like stepped out of it. And I'll tell you what helped me was I started cycling back through like all the great men in my life, and I realized
Mhm.
what made them great, the greatest ones, the ones that I really
Mhm.
really look up to and wanted to model because modeling's
Yeah.
important. You just can't run
Yeah.
their playbook forever.
For sure.
But I noticed that they were living life on their terms, man. They just didn't give
Yeah.
a flying F about what everybody else said the goal was going to be. I met one guy
Mhm.
that was doing 300 million and that was greatness on his terms. I met another
Yeah.
guy who was doing 300,000 and his life
Yeah.
was awesome. He loved his
Yeah.
freaking life. Like who have you looked up to? Who do you consider like a great man? Like someone who is living life on their terms, like maybe from the past or even like maybe who you're learning from and looking up to now, and what makes them great to you?
Man, that's a tough question. I feel like, I mean, there's a lot of people that I could mention.
You know what I should do on this podcast? It was, who's your Mount Rushmore of greatness? That way, it's not one guy you got
Yeah,
to
yeah.
single out. You know what I'm saying? Like Mount Rushmore of greatness.
I go through seasons of like, I align with parts of what people are doing.
That's a good point. Yep.
Like, I mean, as I made this transition in 2023, I did some private work with Todd Herman, who wrote The
I like
Alter
Todd.
Ego Effect.
Yep.
And like I wouldn't say I'm like super super close with him, but like I've been around him long enough to like see how he lives his life and how he's made his money. And he's like a guy that I feel like really just designed his business in a way that like allowed him to spend most of his time, if not all of it, in like his zone of genius. Like didn't ever really have to have a big team. Made a lot of his money selling IP. Like still has a lean team, but yet still impacted a ton of people. So like that's one person. And I get to like see his life, on social media a little bit. Another guy, well, Taki Moore is a coach I worked with.
Love talking more, man.
Yeah, great, great human being.
Yep.
Just like unapologetically him. Like
Yes.
I remember I brought Lisa, like my number two, to one of his events, and she was like shocked he was barefoot. He's like always barefoot. And I was like, yeah, the
That's
dude just
amazing.
like walks around pretty much everywhere, like barefoot, like does his thing. And like he's someone who like I admire from he just kind of like does it his way. And while he does make a ton of money, like you can kind of tell it's not about the money for him.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two. I don't know. I can keep going.
It's interesting the evolution of that, like, because you go through these phases, like, like I was really into Russell Brunson for a while and scale, and I went out to
Mm,
ClickFunnels headquarters, learned how to do webinars, and I learned a lot from his stuff. But then it kind of was like, do I want to have $1 billion SaaS software product? Is that what I'm
Mm.
trying to figure out how to do here?
Yeah.
And then I had some interactions lately that I've really admired. One, I went to a dinner with John Acuff. You know who
Mm.
John
I know
Acuff
of
is?
him. I've never met him personally.
He kind of rocked my world a couple years ago because Acuff's super successful, great, huge, high paid speaker, but off
Mm.
best selling, all that good stuff. And I was talking to him, and I was like, "Dude, what's your team look like?" He's like, "Oh, I got like one or two people, and just me and my wife." And I'm like, "Wait, what? What did you just say out loud? That can't be
Yeah.
possible. That cannot.
Yeah.
You can't be John Acuff." I'm like, "Who does your social media?" He's like, "Oh, that's me, bro. I'm out there doing it myself." I'm like, "What? You
Yeah.
don't have a VA in the Philippines doing your social media? What are you talking about right now, bro?" And so that was a really interesting like shift. And I'll tell you, man, lately is a guy I met a long time ago, man, at one of Ducker's events. It's freaking James Schramko. That
Oh yeah.
dude, that dude is unapologetically living life on his terms, getting up and surfing every day, doing all those things. Still makes great money, like you said about
Yeah.
Taki, but like I just find myself more, and it's okay if your goal is freaking a shark is Mr. Wonderful and you want to be like that. I'm not
Right.
saying either one's bad or good,
Yeah.
but I'm much more cautious at 48 with the parts that I'm admiring or coveting even from other people when
Yeah.
I'm putting someone in that like greatness category. It's more like I'm more like I speak with Ed Milet a lot at events, and like that dude is the epitome of hustle culture, going 20 hours a
Seems
day,
like it.
flying
I
all
don't
over
really
the
follow him
place.
because I can't vibe with that for some reason. But
Totally, totally. And like backstage, when we're in a green room or something, he's completely authentic. Like that is greatness on his turn. He
yeah, yeah, that's
defined
great.
that for him. And but those are some of the guys that I've really been like looking into. And it's kind of a recurring theme I'm hearing here too, as which I've experienced. I wish me and you had hung out more in 23 because we were both firing everybody and doing something different. That was exactly what was happening for me, dude. In 2023, I should have hollered at you and see what was going on. But the
Seriously, yeah.
I have found that every season where that shift happens, like it does cost you something to transition, to
Yeah.
change into a more authentic version of greatness for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, what is growth besides even just maybe money? Because that's kind of balanced out. Like what did you have to let go of? Like what did it cost you as a man, not just a business owner, or your ego, to be able to get through that and make that shift? Because I think that's what holds most guys back from letting go of the comfortable checklist from everybody else and
Yeah.
actually creating a checklist of their own, because that's scary sometimes.
Yeah. So I mean, I think when I was trying to scale and we were, trying to break the two and three, it cost me like some of my health. I mean, I've always been relatively active, but like I wasn't mountain biking as much as I wanted to. I wasn't getting outside. I definitely wasn't as present at home for my wife or the kids at the early ages. And then the shift where I'm like intentionally downsizing, yeah, it like cost me revenue. I am paying myself more, but like I still like I want to increase our revenue, but not like I don't need to get to a specific like we have like specific number where it's like yeah, like anything above this is good. And so like we're around that number like and we're going to get back to where we want to be. But like the the big hit was the ego. Like oh man, like I feel like if I say I can't say I'm at a seven-figure business anymore. We're close in the ballpark. I mean, I can say how much I take home, which is like more than I took home when I was over a million,
Yeah,
which is
yeah, yeah.
actually what I care more about. So it cost me that. Honestly, I feel like the ego in this more recent shift was was the big one, which I'm okay with because like it was probably out of hand. So something you said earlier though that like really resonated again, like you said, like there's parts of people that like, and I love that, like, at Milet, do your thing. Like, Dan Martell was one of my early clients, one of my early coach and mentors. I still look up to him in like certain regards. I don't want his life.
Right.
I wouldn't want how he's doing business, but I like what he stands for, and I love that that's what he loves. So like go do you, right?
Yeah, man.
And what kind of I've come to in the last even just like 6 months, if I'm being honest, is like designing the business for my needs, not for like what someone else thinks I should need or like should want and or how they measure success.
Yeah.
And I actually in like kind of having this aha and like now revisiting all of my clients and like looking at it through that lens, it's like, man, so many people are just chasing things because someone else has them. And if they actually just focused on what their needs were and built the business to at least satisfy those needs first, like as the floor, like stop designing for like the sky is the limit and like figure out what the floor is and
Yeah.
like get it to the floor while it's on your terms. Because like some of these people that I encounter, myself included, probably a couple of like years ago, was like, you probably could be working less and making more at a job. Like,
Totally.
and so it's like if you got into this to like have control of your calendar, it's like, well, figure out what the minimum amount of money is. And like this is actually an exercise we take our clients through now that like I had to go through myself. It's like I look at my business as a vehicle in which I need to look at it through three lenses: time, energy, and money. And money lasts on purpose. And so, like, time, like, how many days a week do I want to be working? How many hours a day do I want to be working? Like, how many times do I want to go on vacation? Like, what do I want that to look like? So, like, what does my calendar look like for like how much I'm working and or not working? Then, when I am working, energy wise, what am I spending my time on?
Mm.
And then who might I need around me to help me with the things that I don't want to have my energy on? And then if I could live that calendar and spend my time and energy in that way, what is the least amount of money that I would be willing to take to, if I could do that consistently for the next 25 years, I would ride off into the sunset.
I love it.
And so like I figured out like that number and like I'm above that number. And it's like, okay, cool. It's like you can always make more, but like, all right, now it's like, all right, well, if I want to make more, can I still do it with spending my energy here and my
With
schedule
those
here?
priorities in that
If
order,
yeah, and like
basically.
do
Yeah.
if and then it's like, well, if I have to compromise one of those to make more, am I willing to do that? And then that becomes a question of like, well, maybe I want to. And the thing that Todd Herman said to me that I love was like, he's like, Greg, like you're you know, at the time, this was a couple of years ago now, like, so yeah, I was 41 or whatever. He's like, most of the people that are like the wealthiest in the world, like, didn't even start business until like their 40s. And
Mm.
he's like, it, the season of you like being like lean, dad, mountain biker, like that, he's like, it's okay to change your, like, if your kids go off to college or when they go off to college or when they leave the house, like,
Totally.
if you still have the energy, like you could go build something and scale it if you want. Like you have the ability to change what you want in this in seasons. And that was like, oh yeah, because I was always like kind of like a black or white, like, oh, if I'm gonna build this type of business, this is how it has to be built, and this is what it's gonna have to look like in 10 years from now. And it's like, so I gotta do this now if I gotta get there. And he's
And I
like,
gotta exit and I gotta exit and be set in the next three generations of my family are set for life.
right, right. And so it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like,
Yeah.
it's like, well, if I want to like have a lean business for the next 10 years, and then if something inspires me to not do that 10 years later, cool. I can always like work on that later. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And also too, like I've had a couple epiphanies like that recently as well. Like the first thing you touched on there with ego, it's really identity. I think when you adopt the playbook, which we all need to do that from time to time from other people because we don't know what in the hell we're
For
doing.
sure.
Nobody does, even the guy you're adopting the playbook from, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you do it and you make it work. And now that pull from the ego of if I do something different, I found for me it was and this identity, this character that is Shane Sams to everybody else
Yes.
is going to
Yes.
change. Well, all those other, my safety is in danger because now all those other people know me as one way. They only know me from when they knew me and how I was.
Right.
can a change be accepted? Does it keep me in the same circles? Does my network, whatever? Like all these identity things just started pouring into my brain, and that creates like fear and like paralysis. And then I had a similar, oh man, the way you worded that was so beautiful. Like, what do you need? And I think when you hear that, a lot of people would think, oh gosh, can I have food and a home and lights, my needs, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or whatever.
Yeah.
But around this time we were both kind of 23, kind of doing these changes. I would go to masterminds and I would go hang out with my boys or go to the houseboat trip on a retreat.
Mhm.
And that same question that always pops up that everybody says you got to know is, what do you want? What do you want? And that question to me, that I almost threw up in my mouth for about a year thinking about that question, because the only thing you can think of like wants are, well, shit, I want to have $20 million and do this and that. Like that's
Yeah.
fine. But when you think about it, like you just worded it, like what's your need? Well, the first need is, who do I want to hang out with every day and how do I want to spend my time with?
Mhm.
That's the need. And then the next need is, I don't want to be exhausted and working 90 hours a week. I want my cortisol to be freaking low so I'm not
Yeah.
anxious and not sleeping. I don't want to I don't need meetings. I don't need 17 Zooms on a Tuesday when I got home on a Monday from a trip,
Yep.
right? And then by putting money last, which is a genius framework there that you've kind of, it's simple. I'm sitting here thinking, why have I never thought of this before?
Yeah.
And then like it's the money for what you need to live a good life. It's not just your needs, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't want to be like, all right, I'm not homeless, but we want to be somewhere in between that and $100 million. We need to figure out what actually you need. Like I'll tell you what I need. I need to be able to go to a coffee shop and work. I need to be able to do that. I thought I was
Yeah.
supposed to have a studio and an office, and I had this big flipped lifestyle set built and I bought a house that was our place where we worked and we did it and all these things. And I'm like, I don't need this because I have ADHD and I need people and I'm alone in the studio recording all day. This is not good for me, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that need was, yeah, no, but you know what I need? I need a little studio here at my house. I need to be able to go to the coffee shop and hang
Yeah.
out. I need to be able to go hang out with people.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that framework, dude. That's a genius way to like put that in order, man. And the floor concept, I get that too, because my thing when I quit my job was, can I get enough people paying me $50 a month as a floor and then make the rest of my money on top of that?
Yeah.
But discovering your floor based on what you actually need in your calendar and energy, way better than what do I want?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
wants the
The I modified that off of someone that I modeled, that I learned from, that was a mentor. And the concept of that idea of like looking through it through money or time, energy, money, he called it the return. Like, if you can live this life and you spend your energy that way and you can make this much money, like, is that the return that you want to see on that time and energy? Right. Like,
mm,
you kind of like think about a lot of the, like, even at corporate, you're like, oh man, like I work so much, it's not worth my time. Like, that's like,
mm,
it's not worth my time. Right. And it's like, there's certain things that we do that we were even doing before we even went out by ourselves. It's like that we're not worth it. It's like, man, like I went out on my own because I feel like I could probably make more than my salary doing it how I wanted to. And it was true. Mission accomplished. Right.
yeah.
It's like, but that idea of like making it worth my time, it just became, well, how much can I make? Right.
Totally. The problem is you can always make more. That's what I learned
Yeah. You can
is,
always make
oh
more.
no, I hit the highest number we could have ever imagined 10 years ago. And there's still more that you could do.
Oh,
It's
there
just a
always will
hamster
be. Yeah.
wheel. It's infinite, dude.
And then that kind of question of like, what do you want? Actually, Todd Herman said this. So kudos and shout out to him on this. I recite this all the time. He says, everyone talks about how, like, as an entrepreneur, even really just in life, the hardest question to answer is, what do you want? Which it is a hard question. He said, but you know what's harder than that? Admitting what you want.
Ooh.
He's like, because the second you
Yeah,
admit what
man.
you want, everyone's going to judge you. Oh, well, Greg, why don't you could totally scale that to 3 million? Why don't you do that? You should do that. Oh,
Dang,
wait,
man.
you're not doing XYZ. Oh my God, you could do this. Oh, you could do that. Like, what? Like, the second you admit what you want is when all that what is when it gets real because everyone is going to judge you either positively or negatively. And you need to be able to sit with that and hold strong on like, yeah, but this is what I want. Like, I don't need
Dang,
to want
dude.
what you want. That's okay. Want what you want. But like, don't tell me I should want something different if this is what I want. And so I think about that all the time because I still to this day, like as I'm getting clearer and clearer, because as we always do, it's like I'm just like, all right, like how do I like admit this to somebody so that it's like not just in my head? Because if that's like the next step of like knowing it's the thing, right? Like I'm gonna go out there and admit that this is what I want. And one of the things that I just recently started admitting, but like also I think I've talked to so many people. Like, I mean, we worked with almost 1,000 agency owners, consultants at this point. And like, they share their income and like how much they're making and like revenue and all that stuff. And I feel like, and there's a grain of salt on this, but like I've haven't met someone yet that has difficulty living exactly how they want to live when they're making 200K a year. Like
Totally.
200,
Yeah.
250 pre-tax,
Yeah.
like
Your life does not
two
fundamentally
kids,
change
like
over 250
you're
grand,
not
man.
going to
It
be
just
flying
doesn't.
private jets, but
Right.
like, or owning
You're going to go
jets,
wherever you want, though.
but
You know what I'm
like,
saying?
yeah, like we we save a bunch of money, like take home. I mean, my wife does really well too. She's a doctor. So like collectively we do really well. But like a lot of these people that I know, they're the only income and like they're living life. And I'm like, oh, wait, you only take home 200 after taxes or like whatever, 200 pre-tax. It's like, so you're probably making like 150 or something. Like,
Right.
and they're doing everything just fine. Like kids are in good
Everything just fine,
schools,
dude.
they're
Yep.
saving money, they have a
It was
nice
funny
home.
because when I remember when, that moment when you make your own money and you realize that you can kind of make as much money as you want depending on what you're willing to sacrifice. You realize that like, when you're in a job, like I was a school teacher, bro. Like I was making 36 grand a year and I
Yeah.
knew how much I was going to make for the next 30 years. There was a schedule that showed me that.
Yeah.
So I was like on a conveyor belt. And
Yeah.
then like when we first started our business, it just hit me one day. I was like, Jocelyn, if we sell more stuff, we will make more money. This
Yeah.
is kind of amazing. Like we have like 0.5% of the market we're in. Like if we just get to 2% of the market we're in, we're going to make all this money. And we sat there and we went and we said what would be a life that we could not have imagined? And we were like,
Mhm.
okay, we would want to go on this many trips. We would want to take
Yep.
the kids to Disney World once a year. We would want to do all these things we wrote down. We would want to live in this kind of house, which costs this much money in our area, kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah. You can figure that out on a napkin real quick.
Real quick, we actually did it. It was funny. We went to this Mexican restaurant and I couldn't find a pen, and we got my kid's box of crayons. So we're sitting at this Mexican restaurant
Yeah.
trying to dream our future with Crayolas. Right? It
Yeah.
was
Like,
amazing.
what's my future going to cost?
Exactly. And we
Yeah.
came up with a number then that was $25,000 a month, which seemed astronomical to me
Yeah.
at the time, right? And then we got there and we bought into all the stuff and we kept going more 50,000. Oh, you got to make 100K a month if you're a real entrepreneur, all this other bull crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny because right now, dude, my life, yeah, man, it's about 30 grand a month. I mean, I don't have to pay more than that. Like
Yeah.
I can take 4 trips a year. I can take two
Yeah.
kids vacation trips. I can
Yeah.
fly first class. It's only $200 more a ticket. But like
Yeah.
it's like you can do all these
I don't know what
things.
airplane you're flying on, where air first class is only $200 more.
Well, you got to find the deals. You got to find the deals. So sometimes it's like $1,000 more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But like
Yeah.
normally, so here's my scam. What I do is like I take the Knoxville or the Lexington to Charlotte, and I don't buy first class on that one because it's only like an hour, and
Yeah.
then I up the spring for it on the next one. So you get it's a few $100s more. Don't
Yeah.
spoil my example, bro. but but like I'm trying to agree with you, damn it. Okay, I'm trying to agree with you, dude. But like it is true, man. Like and like the other thing does, I think, is the only thing more money does is create a bigger shield between you and catastrophe, I guess. Like you, oh no, now I've got a 6 month saving fund. Oh, now I've got a 1 year saving fund, or now I'm saving
Yeah.
3 million in retirement instead of 2 million or whatever. But eventually it's just like, dude, man, like what does it cost you? It cost me so much physically. Like I almost died in 2022, man. Like literally, like I was
Jesus,
in the hospital for 9 days. My health was, I weighed 290 pounds. I
dang.
had been grinding 70 hours a week for 2 straight years trying to get this company off the ground, this one company off the ground. We were going, man, and my body hit a wall. I got a staph infection in my blood, and I went to bed 3 or 4 nights in a row with the doctor telling me we're not sure if you'll wake up in the morning. I mean, legit,
Mm,
like straight
mm,
up. And coming out of that, dude, I was just like, I don't know what's got to change, but I'm doing something bad wrong if my
yeah,
body is in this bad shape for real. Let me ask you this now. So we went through all these changes,
yeah,
and based on the gray in my hair and in your beard, I think there's some wisdom, actually. But
yeah,
entrepreneurs build with knowledge, but they'll
yeah,
break without wisdom, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so, what does it feel like with what's emerging now? Like, how does it feel on the other side of these life lessons and changes, evolutions, reinventions, transformations? I've watched you evolve
Yeah.
multiple times. I see a lot of guys get stuck in that like identity. Like, what feeling is emerging? How is it impacting your relationships? How is it impacting your mental health, which is a huge thing right now? And just how is Greg Hickman feeling as he's emerging in this next chapter?
Yeah. I mean, that answer to that question will probably change depending upon what hour of the day or day of the week you ask, if I'm being honest, because
It's 1:46 on a Wednesday. Let's do it.
I still have emotional swings for sure. I'm like super emotional.
I'm
So
with you, bro.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think like the first few things that came to mind is just like I I know that if I prioritize my health and maintain the kind of schedule that I've given myself that allows me to be really active and present with my family and make sure that those blocks of time as best as possible become like non-negotiables, that whatever the business looks like will, like, I'm confident that it can form around that. And I'm excited because I think, and I have like a love hate kind of with what's going on with AI and everything. And like our whole, like, coaching consulting industry, I think is getting shook up a bit. I've personally felt the impact of that in my business
For
while
sure.
also intentionally downsizing. And but it's exciting to me in that, like, I feel like I'm nimble enough that I can make whatever moves I need to make. Like, I have optionality.
Yeah.
I'm not so stuck in one path or have all this overhead that forcing me down or sticking towards one particular path. And so I sort of feel like, how like Apple like just kind of watches everyone figure it out and they come out of nowhere and just do it well. Like I feel like I'm kind of like
Yes.
observing, like I'm dabbling, I'm testing things, I'm experimenting, having fun doing it, making sure I'm making enough money to keep my, lifestyle where I want it to be, which is, good. Like it's not like I'm not like just making ends meet, like I live a pretty
Totally,
good life,
bro.
live a pretty good
You're
life.
living life. You're
Uh,
living life on you're doing it, man.
yeah.
It's
And
amazing.
so it's like, but I'm getting to like observe and like, how do I want to tackle this? Let me like, I have room to be creative and explore right now. And that part is really exciting because I do think that like what my business looks like a year from now, even is could be pretty significantly different than how it is now.
I agree with that
And
for sure.
all of these changes, both from like what I feel like the market is wanting, what's possible with AI and tech, I'm excited because I think we're seeing already like the ability to make a lot of money with a one person business. Not that I want
Totally.
to be a solopreneur. I like having team. I just don't want a big team. I like having help. But the like that whole, like, there's already $1 million companies, one person companies. We're gonna see $1 billion company, one person company before we're dead for
Totally.
sure. And so like that's really exciting. Like I think like the ability to stay lean now and how it can be done is more possible than ever, which I feel like
It's actually supporting the lifestyle you're
it's
trying to build
supporting. Yeah. It's
more than
like,
it's hurting it,
oh,
for sure.
I'm actually like, I have new ideas on how I can make this thing be what I want it to be that weren't even possible before. So like that's like kind of giving me new life. And then also excited because, and I don't know how it's going to shake out, but like with all of that, I'm stoked that I feel like there's also this movement of people that are taking like connections, conversations, and like the things that only we can do as humans more seriously, like in-person events. Like I ride on
Yes,
my bike
sir.
team, like we ride together every Wednesday, like running clubs are growing, like in-person stuff is like making a comeback because like there's this yearning for connection and relationships. And I think that's a great thing. And so like I'm excited for what that looks like, you know, in my local community and even what it might look like in my business. So I'm super optimistic on that front. And then also equally terrified for like our children, you know,
Dude,
like
man,
the world that they're
what
living in.
I keep telling them, like, the only thing I can tell Isaac and Anna right now is you better know how to work with AI better than anybody else does. So I
Yeah,
make them get on it every day just to play around with it, talk
that's
about
great.
it, like
Yeah,
whatever. And I'm like, if you don't have a job that physically requires you to be in connection with a human, that's probably going to be something that might not be here. And I don't know what that's going to look like, but it is pretty crazy. And like the offline world reemerging. I heard Gary Vee the other day say analog is going to make a comeback.
for
People are going
sure.
way in person, and that was kind of the inspiration for this when I saw how AI dramatically affected what we were doing just even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like ChatGPT 2 years ago, one of my customer service reps figured out that it knew who I was and could sound like me because I transcribed 1,000 podcasts into the data set.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that sounds like I wrote that. That actually sounds better than me a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
and I re, and I realized then something was happening. And then we were on the houseboat trip 2 years ago, and every year we invite a couple new guys, just let them experience it and let them do it. And like every year we hear the same thing. It's like, I wish I could do this more often. I wish I could have this. And I've heard that get louder
I've
in
been
the last
saying that
couple
since you
years.
had me on the boat the first time.
I know. Maybe you'll be the first repeat guest. We've never had a repeat guest on the house. Hey, I listen, but I was sitting around the campfire, dude. We were
Not that I
smoking
haven't
cigars.
asked.
No, I know. We did think about for an anniversary trip getting 3 boats and just bringing everybody back, just having like
That'd
a
be good.
20-person thing. And but I actually was sitting around the campfire with AI in the back of my mind like last year, and I was like, well, wait a minute. I can bring this experience. I literally build communities and host live events for my job for the last 15 freaking years, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of like where Great Men came from. I was like, okay, we're all going through the same shit. And this clearly is the answer is brotherhood, friends, lead, catching up, figuring out what's going on,
Yeah.
readjusting together. And these retreats, which are so valuable to just unplug with
Yeah.
dudes for a couple days. And in a lot of ways, I think Great Men for me is a response to the AI thing. And my team, dude, I'll tell you how I'm building this. Like, well, this is my theory. I don't know if this will work. Don't listen to me. I have no idea what I'm doing. But like, I was sitting there the other day and I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to be alone. I like to have about 2 to 3 people working for me. I do like that
Mm.
because that doesn't feel like management to me. It feels like we're all 3 or 4 just working together on projects, which is my
Yeah.
favorite. And, I got my content guy. I want support people. I don't want AI doing my support. I want somebody that'll handle the community I build and lead it,
Mm.
right? But then I was like, you know what? The third employee could be just someone who really understands AI and how to build agents, and everything else that
Mm.
happens through that medium. And that keeps me small and
Yeah.
lean. That keeps me connected to people. And now we go out and we build some kind of movement around human connection, right?
Yeah. I mean,
And I think
obviously,
that's
if
where
you're
it's
building
going,
a
bro.
yeah, if you're building a movement around human connection, you obviously need humans to
Oh,
connect.
bro, yeah. I actually I changed my Facebook bio and my Instagram bio to human led, not AI. I post
Yeah.
my own stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's not AI slop. This is actually Shane Sam's dumb voice that you're listening to every single day
This
on
is
Instagram.
actually Greg's human slop.
Exactly, bro. Dude, I love you, man. I am so glad to catch up, dude. And also, too, dude, I just want to tell you, man, I've always admired you, dude. I love watching you go through life. I love watching all the stuff that you build. And you're a great man, dude. Hey, tell everybody out there just what you're doing now, how you serve people. And if anybody's listening, they might want to check you out where they can do
Yeah.
that at.
Yeah. So thanks. Right back at you. I admire what you're doing. I love this new project. I'm stoked to follow it. I run Alt Agency, altagency.com. We work with agency owners, consultants, and service providers that either accidentally built an agency or realize now that they don't want one and they would rather build something that is more lifestyle driven. So we productize their expertise and help them monetize that in a variety of ways. And I have a YouTube channel that I've one video every week for the last almost 10 years on
Great
those
follow, by the
topics.
way. Great
Yeah.
follow. I watch a lot of your videos, dude.
On those topics, just search for Greg Hickman. You'll find me there.
All right, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for being on the
Likewise.
show, dude.
I'm in.
All right, guys, that wraps up my amazing conversation with Greg Hickman, man. I love that dude. I love dudes who are just out there figuring it out, man. Like, that's what you got to remember, man, is you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And the only way to know it is to get up and go do it. And then you decide, is this thing that this other person's doing good for me? Or does this actually meet my needs? Does it make me happy? Does it make me feel good? Is this the version of greatness I want to chase? Or do I want to take parts of it and bring it forward and build something new? And it's been an honor to be watching Greg Hickman over the last few years, just as a friend and just as a guy I know, to be able to make those decisions, like to transform, to evolve, to step out of old identities, to not let ego kind of hold you back. And he's doing a great job with that. Hope you enjoyed that conversation. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Well, I guess you don't like podcasts. Make sure you go subscribe to the Great Men Podcast so you can catch interviews like this every single week. You can also check out everything that's happening over at the Great Men Project at greatmen.org. We got a lot of cool resources, frameworks for you to use over there to build greatness on your terms. We got an online community of guys that we're building over there so we can create that brotherhood and be around other good men who are trying to build a great life that they define. And we've also got retreats coming up later this year where you can actually come in person, you can hang out, connect, and build that tribe of great men in your life too. You can also follow me over on social media. I'm posting a lot these days over on Instagram at Shane Sams Creates. And you can also find me over on Facebook, old school Facebook. You can go find me. Just my name is Shane Sams. Type it in, and you'll find me in everything that I'm doing over there. And hey, I'm out speaking on the road too. You may see me out there somewhere to go. All right, that's all the time we have for this week. I'll see you next time. Shane Sams out.